Cool. Great. Always happy to know. Okay, so the model that we are backtesting, that we have been backtesting since April, is Adrian's 5-minute Q3 model. The point of this model is to catch the 4-hour expansion. So in summary, prior to every 4-hour candle, or at the beginning of every 4-hour candle, there is a Q3 that is aligned with the beginning of that candle, or just somewhere in the vicinity. That 5-minute Q3 generally creates a manipulation zone if the manipulation occurs in Q3, and as a result, the deviations from this manipulation zone tend to forecast the 4-hour candle expansion. That's the basic idea. Now, the way we approach this model is as such. We are marking out previous day high and low. We are marking out OTE and fixed range volume profile within that previous day high to low. So if the previous day closed bullish, we're marking it out from previous day low to previous day high. If the previous day closed bearish, then we're marking it out from previous day high to previous day low, following the direction of previous day's close. We are marking 1-hour PD arrays within the OTE area, and then we are waiting for a 5-minute Q3 change of state of delivery to occur. We mark out that zone as the manipulation zone. We wait for displacement out of this zone, and then we mark the 5-minute PD arrays as well as OTE of that expansion. Once we return to the zone, then that's when we can take an entry, and the entry will occur in the form of 0.5, 0.618, 0.705, or 0.79 retracement levels, and we're combining that with the manipulation zone created in Q3, and then we're going to target the 4-hour standard deviations, which are the deviations that are originating from this manipulation. Once we enter, we trail our stops at 1.5 standard deviations, or if price expands to 1.5 standard deviations before it returns to the zone, then this trade idea is invalidated. So again, most of you, or just a handful of you, have attended these sessions already. You guys are familiar with the model. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask away. So far, the changes that we have made for the model itself is we were first limiting what 4-hour candle we can take the trades in. We've since removed this because we're already limiting the trade to Q3 manipulations. We've already eliminated a lot of opportunity that we can take. So I've opened it up to all 4-hour candles. Also, we've removed SBS as an entry criteria. So we are still testing against SBS, meaning we're still testing, or we're still recording what SBS swing it ends up being. But we are no longer requiring that as entry criteria. And because of that, in the last session, we were able to lock in a decent amount of reps. I think in the last session alone, we got in about 10 reps. So it's all looking really good now. If we were to remove SBS altogether, we would be at around a 93% win rate instead of an 83% win rate, because SBS in the beginning being a requirement, we wouldn't have taken this trade here, SBS2. And so if we removed it, this would increase the win rate up to 93. So far, even with SBS and the old criteria, we're still at an 83% win rate. This is looking good. We expand to 1.5 standard deviations 67% of the time, amongst winners and losers. So 1.5 is always first target, which you will see, and this is the way Adrian trades it, is that he always has one account for each of these deviations. So 70% of the time, one account is making it to profit. Yes, I still am backtesting on Saturdays. Saturdays are actually my most consistent day, Cozy. What's up? Yeah, so if you can't make it, because I know it's like prep for dinner time type of thing during the week, no hard feelings. Otherwise, I have uploaded, I've caught up with all the uploads. We have a video coming every single day until Sunday. Today's video will be posted on Monday, and then Saturday on Tuesday, and then Tuesday I resume like regular uploads. So I'm caught up with everything. Everything is uploaded, and then I just have I have the next 2 videos scheduled for like every day at 8 a.m. or something. Thank you, appreciate it. So all I think I before I left to the Philippines, I had stopped uploading in March. So all the videos that I've recorded since then, which are really just April and May, I've uploaded everything. So if you know if someone wasn't here or whatever, everyone can feel free to watch. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started now. Let me make sure we're unlocked. We ended this at Friday, January 24th. I think we can finish up January today, hopefully. I am considering backtesting more. Maybe every night at 7 p.m. I won't get paid for it, but I'm thinking about backtesting every night at 7 p.m. to kind of catch up with where we are in price action, because we're simply not going fast enough, right? We're only backtesting maybe there's some sessions that are going like 3 or 4 hours, but most sessions are in the 1 to 2 hour range, and as a result we're backed up on data. So I'm highly considering, depending on how things move forward. But yeah, I've been running really long sessions and still without being able to kind of catch up with where we are in current price action. And that was my initial hope, was that because we're not getting reps all the time, that we'd be able to easily catch up with current price action, and that's just not the case. So yeah, I'm thinking about every night at 7 p.m. Don't hold me to that just yet, but I'm gonna try to hop on as much as I can to try to catch up with data. Alright, so we'll just start with the new week actually. So luckily I did keep the last rep on. So yeah, we're done with the previous week. Good to go. We will now play forward so that we have this data here. Okay, so we opened below previous day low anyway. These sessions where we kind of take previous day low or previous day high before we get a Q3 manipulation are a little bit tricky, but not impossible to trade. It just doesn't help us as far as the narrative goes for using OTE and fixed range volume profile. Those kind of become just irrelevant, and we just have to follow current Q3 manipulations. So the most previous manipulation, as you saw, is this one up here. We just keep these on the chart for context moving into the next day. So this is a Q3. Yes. I do encourage everyone to watch the video that's dropping on Sunday. It's titled Massive R. It's this video right here. We get a lot of good reps in. Oh my goodness. And I think like we can check here. One of the trades is 12R, 13R before that. So like we get some really good trades in that video. So yeah, it's freaking insane, dude. Like it's absolutely bananas. And if you look at these trades, they're the 0.79 level. So 0.79 13R, 0.79 12R. Freaking massive, dude. I was like, okay, we're starting to get somewhere now. Yeah, it's crazy. Alright, so massive R is going to be a good video, I think. And I think we stayed on for like, I think it's a 2-hour video if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so this manipulation is from what session? AM session. So Q3 AM. And this is already invalidated, so we'll just leave that as is. Here we are in Q2. Alright, so we want to see if this gets confirmed or denied. This is the high that I will be watching for a bullish CSD. Alright, and we do actually close lower instead. Here. Oh, well, we actually completely missed this one. So we have that. It's not like a manipulation in the classic sense of sweeping out all the highs, but we have that, and then we have this. So this Q4 CSD is a continuation of this one. Let me just move that up. Let's see, Q1. Oh, this is Q4 still, and it closes in Q1. Okay, hold on. We do actually technically have a Q1. So all bearish continuations. I'm not marking them out because that's how I remind myself that I can't trade from it. I'm not labeling it. Alright, Q2. Just melting away. Okay, Q3 consolidation, Q4. So again, for context, the only reason I'm not taking a trade is because all of the foundation of the framework is always going to be a Q3 manipulation. So we just let all this go. The longest that we've gone so far without a trade in this model, I believe, is 6 days. Yeah, from January 17th to January 23rd. So I think 5 trading days technically. No, not even. That's 4 trading days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, so then 3 trading days technically. The longest stretch though is from here. So also 3 trading days. Friday to Wednesday. No, this is just 2. Sorry, just 2. So yeah, 3 trading days with no trade. I don't think that's too bad personally. I think everyone can survive 3 days without trades, but maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Alright, so first CSD here. Let me delete all of this. Alright, and just for the record again, the CSDs, I'm going by Adrian's original definition from his mentorship. Just to keep everything mechanical and super unambiguous. Just do it the way he says to do it. Now this here again is a Q1, so can't do anything, just following it for narrative. 2 brings us all the way up to Asia high, and 3.5 to 4 brings us up to previous day high. Now being this below previous day low, obviously for me I would just expect continuation down, because we've doubled previous day low. If you can't, we've tripled it technically. Sorry, doubled it. Watch me be wrong. Alright, so this is 9:30 open. Ooh, clean. Very clean. Oh, it's a Q4. Damn, I thought it was a Q3. Darn. Alright, so we traded up to London high. Turned around. Changed day delivery bearish. Let's see if it holds and if it continues. I did think it was a Q3. We're at 1 to 1.5. So if this is counter trend, this is where it would turn around. Oh, okay. So yeah, continuation lower. Just want to make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Nope. Alright, so here's Q3. Ooh. We liquidated AM session low. We do have a bullish CSD here, and it is in Q3. Overall narrative is not necessarily bullish, but this deviation from the low is still holding. We came up to 1 to 1.5, missing 1.5, which is disappointing for an accumulation. I would have preferred that it wicks 1.5 before this accumulation. But being that we've taken session low before the CSD, I'm going to go ahead and follow this as a trade idea. So this is the Q3 zone now. And going into, oh, it's end of day. What am I doing? Never mind. Sorry, I apologize. It's 4:30. Unbelievable. So one whole day without a trade. I will remove these guys. Oh, let me keep that last one on. We're gonna go into the next day now. All right, so now new fixed range volume profile. We did close bearish technically, so we're gonna go lower again. We're opening up at OTE, which is interesting. Point of control is right here. All right, so again, Q3 here is pointing bullish with 1.5 being at previous day midnight, 2 at Asia high, previous day Asia high. Okay. Consolidation. Okay, so if we close this high right here in Q3, then we have a continuation higher from previous day narrative. Ooh, it fought for that close. Oops. Alright, so I like to see this a lot. This is actually like the quintessential example that Adrian provided us as well. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, firm close above. Q3 here. So what I'm saying is when we get a Asia range Q3 from a PM range Q3, PM session Q3, this is like the classic example that Adrian has provided us. I'll go up here. So see, we have like PM session, New York PM Q3. It returns to it in Asia and then distributes lower into London. This honestly happens all the time. So hopefully this is a good example and proves that, but this is pretty classic. All right, so now we just wait for OTE to form. Let me see if there's any PD arrays that I need to mark out. Actually, didn't do my job properly. All right, so within OTE, this is the first SIBI here. And then I'll mark this one out just to be aware of it. 0.79. If we sweep this internal high here, intermediate term high, I mean. And then that's way up there, but I'll mark that out. Then obviously we have the volume imbalance there. More than likely an end dog. Alright, so... Ooh, don't like that. I don't like when it snaps right back in like that. I'll mark OTE anyway. So I'll still take it at 50%. We do, let me see. Do we? Yeah, we do have displacement here. All is here as well. But this isn't my favorite. I like for it to like clearly displace away and then come back. We'll see. Okay, so again, just pretend I have a position at 50% for now. If it tags it, then I'll put it on. Ooh, son of a gun. 275.50. Low. 275.75. Missed it by 1 tick. One tick. Okay, let's see if it gives us a clear displacement up. Okay, there we go. So theoretically tagged into all 3 of these entries here. Let's just see if we get stopped out or not. Again, pretend I have positions on. I'll add it after the fact. Ooh, not displacing out. Retesting 50% here. This is kind of already taking too long. Oh, there is a new decision that has come down. Oh, hold on a second. Adrian replied. Ah. Hold on a second, guys. Alright, so change of plans. Adrian is not getting on today. So we'll just go until I can't do this anymore. So again, just theoretically, I have all these positions on. Adrian did tell me after watching all the uploads over the weekend, or over the weekend? What's today? Over the week, that we are not closing trades at the end of a 4-hour candle, but we are trailing stops. Great, sweet. So we had discussed this in previous sessions where it's like, okay, since we're trying to catch the 4-hour candle expansion, do we close at the 4-hour candle? And I did mention that we are looking for confirmation to hold, right? So we are looking at the 1-hour candle. We are looking at the 4-hour candle close to say, okay, if we're bearish, 4-hour candle close bearish, 1-hour candle close bearish, we can continue to hold for bearish price action, assuming and expecting that we will get some form of open high-low close, right? And we need to be prepared for this drawdown. As a result, though, or like because of this, for precaution, we would trail our stops. So Adrian said that like if he's been holding a trade from like 6 to 10 a.m. or sorry, from like 2 to 6 a.m. and then the trade still hasn't hit TP by 6 a.m. he will trail his stop to break even, no matter what. You know, of course, assuming by then hopefully we've already achieved 1.5, but if we haven't, he'll break even at this point because he doesn't, you know, like we're thinking of like being paid for our time, right? Like you don't want to be holding a trade for 4 hours and not get paid for it, or for 4 hours and then lose the trade. So although like we're seeking this confirmation to hold further, we are also going to trail our stops to break even if we get into a trade. So again, it's probably easier for those of you that have been, excuse me, following the series, that you understand what the hell I'm even talking about. But let me put on the positions now. But otherwise, hold on, I can't multitask. Apologize. 275.50. Yeah, otherwise, like we ideally most of the time we would have trailed to break even because we'd be at 1.5 by then. But yeah, we can hold way longer than the 4-hour candle is the point, but we trail at the beginning of a 4. So all positions are going to be on the same candle because, you know, obvious, but they all entered at the same candle. 2-0. So it's gonna be overlapping and confusing. $25. Oh, wrong candle. And then last one. Oh wait, we didn't get a position on that last one. I'm just gonna place it just in case, although I don't think it comes back. 75. Alright, and I'll drag the TPs after we actually hit TP. So that I said that because we're going into the next 4-hour candle. So let me replay to here really quick so you guys can see what I'm saying. So here, this candle this 4-hour candle that opened up at 10 is technically closing bearish. This is not good. Yeah, so this, well, it closed in the doji apparently. Hold on, let me see if it's playing real time or not. 1 to 2. Let me play forward one more candle. Okay, so 10 open. Okay, yeah, it closed exactly, actually, wow, it closed exactly on its open. So it closes in the doji on the 4-hour. The 1 hour closes bearish technically, but still holding up close candles. So this isn't the best example for holding for the, you know, holding into the next 4-hour candle. This is though, in which it's closing as a doji, right? It's indecision. So at this point, you know, you would decide for yourself as a grown adult, do I want to continue holding this trade or not? All 3 positions would be in profit technically. But because the entry just happened, oh wait, no, it didn't. You've already been holding for about an hour. Okay, yeah, so, you know, at this point, you just decide, do I want to hold going into the 4-hour candle or not? For me, because we haven't expanded out of this zone yet, I think I would be more inclined to closing it, truthfully. But this is still holding, like this low is still holding. This previous low that created this deviation is also still holding. So, you know, it's possible that this works out. But I think me personally, as an individual trader, I'd be more prone to close this. Since we're going into a new 4-hour candle. All right, so we've liquidated Asia high, took the high that liquidated Asia high, and we've snapped lower. We're going into Q3 here. We shall see how this plays out. We're not break even yet, so it's going to be full stop loss if we hit the low here. And it continues up. We're now in OTE. We still want to reach up into this SIBI here, which is 1.5. That would be our first target. So BE or stop loss is basically, hold on, it's happening. Okay. We've liquidated London high as well as previous day AM high. Not liking that. Alright, yeah, we're gonna... Okay, so now, this is a good example. This is a good example now. So now, we've gone through 2 a.m. and we're approaching 6 a.m. 6 a.m., now I can tell, or obviously we can all tell that 2 a.m. closed bullish, right? 3 a.m., or sorry, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. closed bearish on the 1 hour. This guy right here. So this closes bearish here, right? So the 1 hour closes as a doji beforehand. This closes bearish. At this point, I think most of us would probably want to close after a 4-hour trade. So this here is a good example of when we would trail to break even if we decide to hold. So I think in this case, I'm not going to track it as a close because we would technically hold, but I will trail to break even here theoretically based on, you know, again, what Adrian has said about going into the next 4-hour candle. So right at the 6 a.m. open, I'll trail to break even here, even though we haven't hit 1.5. And then we shall continue. I think we're gonna get stopped based on what we saw higher time frame. And break even it is. Okay. So up at this point, wow, that's a 9-hour trade. Hold on a second. Up at this point at its highest. This is a 5-hour trade. Let me delete this one. 3R, 2R. So I would say that probably 90% of us would have closed by then anyway. Again, I think the only people who would have held for longer is probably Cozy and I. So most of you guys would have probably had the sanity to close before the 6 a.m. candle. So I'm gonna go ahead and track this as a break-even trade. This is technically actually our first break-even reps, because pretty much all the trades always hit 1.5 standard deviations. But yeah, we'll go ahead and track this. Let me zoom out here. So first I take this screenshot for context. We got 3 reps here. Oh wait, sorry. I need to close this. I need a marker. Tuesday, January 28th. Oh, that was the wrong one. So this part is tedious that you guys have to watch or bear and sit through, so you're just gonna watch me click for a long time. I apologize. We entered all 3 positions at 12:35. Is that correct? Yes, all 3. Oh wait, we're on military time. 0:35. I'm just adding this chart to all 3. Alright, and we exit all. We get stopped out on all at the same time as well. 7:15. It's a long hold. Oh, military. 7:15. And damn, it's a lot of math. 7 hours minus 20. 7 times 6. 420, 400 minutes. And this is technically the 10 to 2 a.m. candle. So 22 to 2, which I think is the first. Oh no, this is the first. And that one was a win. Okay. 22-2. And we enter this trade during Q1. And I think all of them are OB entries. Yes. Well, hold on. Okay, the first 2 entries I will call inversion. The last entry I'll say the OB. .5, .618, .705 was their SBS. 1. Ooh. No, there wasn't SBS. This would technically... Oh yeah, this would technically be 2, 3. I don't know until we actually finish though. I'll go 2. Again, this is not criteria, this is just testing against it. We don't have a 5-4, so I don't know. Let's put a name for now. And there was no macro on entry. And these are our first reps to be BE. Alright, so now our 0. Keep doing that. Alright, so this, we don't have anything for this neither because none of them went to 1.5. 1.5 is the first entry on all of them. And now I'm just going to zoom into each individual rep for the chart. Alright, so my note here is that we liquidated 3 session highs. Liquidated 3 session highs before next 4-hour candle. Does that make sense to everyone as to why that's a note? Because going into 6 a.m. we had already liquidated 3 sessions. So to me that was like all objectives met before the reversal can occur, basically. That's a lot of liquidity. All right, so now we are approaching open. I'm gonna remove this one here. Oh, let me keep that on just in case this ends up being SBS. So this is theoretical 2 here, the entry. Wait, what's happening? Where's the wick? Am I blind? Oh, it's because this. Okay, yeah. Here's the wick here, so this is 2. If we get it. If it's gonna go higher from here. Ooh. Wait a second. This entry wasn't liquidated. The first 2 were. 0.705 still holding. Okay, hold on. We have to play this through here. Well, not looking good. It's probably gonna get liquidated too. Well, let me just try this out. Okay, there we go. That's all I'll say. Alright, that gets liquidated too. I just need to change the time on this. It's liquidated at 9:30. And this is 9 hours. 1654 minus 5 minutes. 5:35. That's a super long hold. Alright, so let me get my bearings here now. Let me delete all these entries. Alright, so SPS now invalidated for sure. We reached up to 1 to to 1.5 on all the deviations before turning around. And now we've flipped this one as well. We delete this trailing stop, and we have a, is this a Q3? It's not, it's a Q2. Darn. No fun. So the candle that confirms the CSD is how we're counting the quarters, or is how we're counting the manipulation for that quarter. CSD, this guy right here. Let's see if we get a manipulation back. Previous day closed what? Closed bearish. Yeah. Okay. We did go all the way back up to OTE. We've taken 3 session highs. We manipulated above midnight. Clear CSD above midnight. So this is the only thing here. We have this Q3 manipulation coming from a Q2 manipulation. So see how it manipulated above highs, above this high here. I don't like it because it didn't take out Q2 high altogether. Like, it's not a clear, you know, Q3 high. I mean, Q3 manipulation. This is indefinitely a Q2 manipulation, meaning that it'll hold as the high for this entire cycle. But this did technically manipulate higher above these highs. Like, this is a mini AMD right here. So let's just see what happens for the rest of it. Oh, okay, great. We close higher anyway in Q3. This guy right here. So this is exactly how I read it live too. Is that, you know, I'm just wrong. I'm just right until I'm wrong. And then once I realize I'm wrong, then I just, you know, we switch sides. You just have to adapt to that. So we've traded above this Q3, traded below this Q3. We're above midnight. We've traded below midnight, and now we've manipulated back above midnight. This is kind of sickening. But this is this Q3 right here from previous day, PM session. Darn. Is still holding for this manipulation right here. For this, sorry, this deviation right here, I mean. Okay. So we have this Q3 to work with. We already traded into OTE. But we haven't reached 1.5 at all on any of them. We only reached up to 1 deviation. This right here, once we trade above here, then this would confirm the rest of these deviations for me. Let's just mark this out right here, and again, just following it until I'm wrong. This is Q3 AM. Where's this from? That's Asia. We don't need this anymore. We're probably not going to get an entry. We are probably not going to get an entry. OTE. So if you can't tell from here, we obviously didn't get into discount. So discount does line up with the zone at least, for if we get a return to the zone here. Ooh, tough. We're not gonna get an entry. This is gonna run without us. Alright, so we already can't take a trade because we reached 1.5 deviations from this manipulation zone. So this trade idea is invalidated. So now we play through until PM session. So sad. Missing reps even in the back test is hard. Alright, Q3 here. Nada. Okay, next day. So BE trades for the day. Took 3 entries, BE. Alright, so now previous day closed bullish. We have OTE bullish marked out already. We're gonna mark out fixed range volume profile now. Pop up into the 1 hour to mark out our imbalances. Does anyone have any questions at all so far? Is everyone following? Okay, I'm not gonna mark out all these because this is gonna start to get crazy with the BPRs. Alright, if I mark out this one, this one, it just gets super disgusting. Although this one is probably really nice because this lines up with the BISI here. Okay, that's it. I'll leave it at that. In the last example, this one here, it didn't hit 50%. So, because it was the day before. Which one are you, what are you talking about? This one here? Like when this low tapped this Q3? Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh yeah, I guess that could have been. Let me see. That could have been a misrep that I just, you know, completely fumbled there. This is a Q3. Indeed. Yes. So this is PM session Q3. No, we could have taken it. Let me just double check here. The high before this. That one there. Ooh, 0.79 too. Disgusting. This is the deviation we were originally working off of. We had this Asia one. Then we had this one come down. Hold on a second. I watched this Q2. Okay, yeah, we could have taken this as a trade for sure. 9 a.m. I mean, no, that's definitely there. Hold on, let me delete all this. I have to delete everything. Good eye. That was just me completely fumbling that Q3. Alright, hold on. I'll replay it to there. Alright, so I can't say... Hold on, let me replay it one more time. Or do we have it? Okay, yeah. I mean, for me, I can't say that again, like, because I mentioned back here, when we traded this low after previous day low, I can't say that I would exactly be bullish after this. Like I wouldn't be targeting previous day high after taking this low, which is why I kind of ignored this Q3 going into it, although the idea was completely valid because it was continuing to hold. So here, when we were here, I was looking at this Q2. It's really just because I was reading the bearish narrative, right? This Q2 happened here, and then I was watching this Q3 to see if it would continue to hold, although we wouldn't have been able to take it, and then it closed up. So like by the time, you know, we were all the way up here, it just wasn't even a thought to me that this was an entry, but this is definitely a valid entry here. So I'm just trying to think of everything else, because all of these entries here, 0.5, 0.618, 0.705. What were the entries that I took the previous day? That went BE. They were from this one. And then it came back down into Asia low. Oh yeah, no, I mean, that would definitely be a valid setup. Like from here, before the rest of the PA played out, I would definitely still be waiting to get into this zone. Like into 50% of this zone. Which ends up being 0.79 there. Okay, hold on, let me get into this. When did we close the other trade? It closed at 9:30. Was the last time it got stopped out. Okay, yeah, we can take it. So as long as we're stopped out of all the other positions we were holding up until this point, we can take this as an entry. So this is the Q3 that we were working off of. It runs that and goes into this the Q3 that happened before that. Yeah, of course, Sandru, no problem. This is this layout specifically is for this model, but I've shared, I use a very similar layout to this. Let me see if there's any extra stuff that doesn't need to be on here. So here, I'll just remove TTFM. We don't need that. You also don't need ADR. So let me just share this with you. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for pointing that out, John Vier. John Vier. How do I say your name? Let's get this in because these are obvious wins. So I'm happy to clock a win. Let's do it. All right. So let's go here. 50%. Let me mark out the prices here too, so I just know that I'm accurate. 59.25. Boom. John Vier. Great. Is it French? Where does it come from? Yes. Nice. I'm smart. 9:30. Okay. Now 1.5 would be this target here. Obviously goes higher. 2.5. Let's start with 1.5. Okay, 22.50. Sorry again, guys. This is where you kind of just have to bear with me and hold your horses while I do this. This one is at 192. Also 1.5 and 0.79. Last one. Alright, so that's beautiful because that's at the beginning of the 10 a.m. candle. Oh wait, hold on. Will we go off of this? No, because we're entering on this one. Ooh, I have to ask Adrian about this one actually. He's probably busy right now. The R is all there, right? Like even this one, even the 50% trade, this guy here, it's 1.5 R, so the R is there. I'm aiming off of this one because this is the one we're entering on, but no, I think we're gonna target the most recent. I've already shared this video on YouTube, but there's a video that we kind of went through this in one session as well, where we discussed, like, are we taking the entry from the deviation that's determining our framework, or do we take it from the most recent? And the video is literally titled the most recent 5-minute standard deviation, so I'm just going to use this one. Hold on, this is so hard. That one. There we go. Alright, so let's just see how far this goes up. Oh, we're already at 4 p.m. Never mind. Great. Good job, John Vieira. You would have gotten the entire daily expansion, actually. So, this is basically, obviously, the meat of the bone here. But, you could technically keep holding this if you wanted to until end of day. We would have closed it here. Or you wouldn't necessarily have closed it. The end of day closes at the same price. So you would have gotten the 1.5 either way. But we will call it 1.5 and all closing at 12:20. Okay, so now let me do this all over again. I apologize, guys. Let me draw fixed range volume profile on here. Okay. Oh, look at that. Point of control, too. Interesting. Very interesting. Very good eye. It's very easy to lose your bearings when, you know, doing all this craziness. Tracking it and all that. Alright, so 4 reps here. Let me... We would have trailed to BE there. Close anyway. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm just trying to make sure I'm tracking it the best way I can. Alright, 4 reps of win. Good. Great, great, great. 3 BEs, 4 wins. Oh man, I need another marker. Still Tuesday, January 28th. Alright, so all of them I think were at 9:35. 9:35 except for this one, which was at 9:40, and this one at 9:45. $9:35. 9:40, 9:45, and 9:35. Notion has been slow at kind of putting those in. 10 to 2. Entered during Q3. Inverse. Oh wait, no. Ooh. I'm gonna call that. hard. I'll call that the OB. OB. Also OB. Alright, 0.79 is the only one that's an inverse. Alright, let's check for SBS again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No macro here on entry. And all profit, all hit 1.5. Let me add the chart to all 4. Alright, now the R. Now the R in the individual charts. I just want to make sure that I have the context. Okay, yeah. This one here. So see, again, another quintessential setup. Thank God John Vier pointed it out. But this is another PM session Q3, right? That we return to an AM session. So here we return to it in Asia. That presented a setup. Then we return to an AM session. This also presents a setup. So like the previous Q3 is pretty much always setting up, like as long as that low is holding, especially the PM Q3, if that low or high is holding and the deviations are continuing to deliver, that can set up the narrative for the next day, which is like pretty much exactly another way of explaining one setup for life. If you guys are, for those of you that are familiar with that video. Alright, so 0.5 there. This is 1.83R. Shit. Next guy, 2.64R. Sorry, I keep clicking the wrong button. $3.79. And 5.74. All right. How would I even begin to note this? So the final note would be for me, because we did take this bullish setup here. So we were stopped out break even out of all the other entries for here. We swept PM session low into Q3 PM session. How do I even begin to summarize that? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just gonna say this. Sorry. Q3 AM retraces into Q3 PM. Alright guys, I'm gonna grab some water really quick and check my text messages. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in. Oh, I didn't put the exit. Feel free to let me know. I think we will continue. I'm not tired yet. It's nice to have some participation. Okay, I'll just leave that for a second. Wait, let me do the math. 3 hours, 60 minutes, 180 minus 15, 165. Alright, yeah, I'll take a quick break. Super quick. And then we'll resume. Going on mute for a second. Alright, so we will go forward to Wednesday. I think we're gonna do it. I think we're actually going to do it. I think we're gonna complete January. This is fantastic. Alright, so into 1800. So back to where we were yesterday, or just a few minutes ago. We are marking out fixed range volume profile, OTE of previous day. This was the most previous Q3. From this Q3, this one. Maybe I should start marking the sessions again. Sanju, I actually have only ever traded one model, and it's pretty much this model right here, except for I don't necessarily demand Q3. It's just very coincidental that it pretty much always lands in Q3. But my model is a 5-minute 2022 model from Session Liquidity. So Session, daily, weekly, monthly liquidity. It's a 5-minute 2022, but the 5-minute 2022 that I'm referring to is just an overgeneralization. It's basically the same model, but I'm basically requiring 2 gaps and a block of some sort. So a breaker block, or an order block, or even a rejection block, as long as there's 2 gaps. I'll show you some trades from the previous week. Guys, apologize for the tangent. You should expect this as viewers of this backtest session or frequent backtest sessions. So I think I traded every day last week, if I'm not mistaken. but I'll show you what my trades generally look like. So here is, hold on, let me look at the dates. I'll show you the trades I took last week and this week. Yeah, so this is Monday. I did trade. So this is Monday here. We came up, just confirm, Sanju, that you can see the chart. No worries. Great, thank you so much. Stick to the plan. So we came up, we took London high here, right? These purple boxes or purple like areas are NWOGs or NDOGs. So we took London session here, right? And then we have the CSD here. And then notice I waited until we got underneath this gap right here. So once we got within this gap after this CSD, and then again we confirm another CSD right there, I shorted it. So again, more or less a 5-minute 2022 in which I'm looking for 2 gaps, 1, 2, and a solid block, which is this block right here, this OB. So I'm looking for 2 gaps in the block above or below a high. Essentially, it's all iterations to me of a 5-minute 2022 model, because if you drop down into whatever other time frames, you're gonna see like the same, you're gonna see exactly the classic quintessential 5-minute 2022 happening within this area right here. And this has always been my model. Even when I was streaming live last year, I've always traded a 5-minute 2022 at session, daily, weekly, monthly liquidity. So again, session liquidity right there. We shift below it. There's 2 gaps. Speed going above it, speed coming below it, short it into midnight. Pretty simple. I'm a 2R trader, so this is kind of like the very typical setup. The next trade, sorry, wrong one again. The next trade on Tuesday. Is this Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. Same exact thing. Like literally the same exact thing again. We take out London low right here. You can't see it, but I can tell. It's red right here, right? This box right here is indicating a purge, a liquidity purge. Again, we have a small little tiny gap right there. We have a gap right here with a solid block. We also have this nice bigger block here. As soon as two gaps in the block is confirmed after liquidity purge of some sort at session, daily, weekly, monthly, long it, tape TP at London high. So again, session liquidity. So that's session liquidity is literally the foundation of my entire model. And it's always just going to be a 5-minute chart. So that's my Tuesday trade. And then Wednesday, I do think I took a trade as well. So yeah, Wednesday I took a trade. I didn't take a picture of TP, unfortunately, but let me show you the trade. The reason I didn't take a picture of TP is because I definitely overheld. So I'm sure everyone remembers where this went, but this went all the way down to Asia low. I was holding it for just a little bit longer than Asia low, but yeah, it was I think I was holding for lunch low. Lunch low was like 380 or something. It only went to Asia low and then it turned around. And because I set my TP at PM session low, as it went to Asia low and turned around, I took TP somewhere up here. Like I didn't get my full 2R, but it was still close to it. But this is Wednesday. And then let me go to Thursday. Thursday's date was what, the 26th? So same thing, London high here. First gap, second gap, nice block, short that, midnight. pretty, and then, you know, London highs above that, but midnight. London lows above that, but midnight. Do you average up or hold the original size? Because I'm a 2R trader, I just hold the original size. I always get in full size and I always exit full size. Is there a training session in your channel that would show this? No, there is not a training session specifically, but if you go through all of my trades from last year, or you search the Discord for A+ setup with my name, all of my A+ setups are this 5-minute 2022 model, or this iteration of a 5-minute 2022 model around session liquidity. And like, just to make it super easy, I'll just show you my trading plan. Let me print this for you if I can. Okay, I already had it. I'll just upload this for you so you can kind of see the rules. It's very generalized. I think it's pretty wide open now with the way I trade now. It's not too like rigid, so you can kind of make it more rigid if you wanted to. But it's the same, like literally the same thing. Trade idea must be 2R. I'm waiting for a 15-minute liquidity purge, session, daily, weekly, monthly high. I'm waiting for a 5-minute inversion or 2022 model, coupled with a 4-hour or 1-hour open inside of a 1-hour PD array, ideally. No problem. And then, you know, just my trade management and everything else that I enter off of. So like these extra entries, these are extra accounts. Damn it, I unmuted myself again. This is extra accounts. This isn't the same account. And then down here, if I take two consecutive losses and then I reduce my number of contracts by half, or use one account, this is next day. This is not the same day. So I only take 2 losses on one account because it's either going to be 1 loss and 1 win, so that account breaks even, or it's going to be 1 win, 1 loss, it breaks even, or 1 win and put it to the side usually, or a loss, another loss, and then that account is like put to the side as well. Because I'm generally risking 25% of the account, so 2 losses would be 50% of the account gone. I let that one rest until the next day. Great. I'm glad. Great, awesome, VPrez. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. and then Saturdays at 12 p.m. And actually, Thursdays we normally have Adrian here as well with us at around 8:30. He did let me know that he's not hopping on today, but this backtest session on Thursday will normally form into a daily review and a weekly review, as well as a weekly forecast when Adrian hops on as well. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys ask some final questions. I'm just gonna mark on the video here that I need to like edit this part. But if you guys have anything else before we finish up this week of data, feel free to ask away. Yeah, exactly, Angel. Like, if you're constantly changing how much you're risking, you never get an idea of if your edge is actually working, because it's always going to be dependent on your mood, really, right? Like, oh, today I'm feeling really confident, I'm going to go ahead and risk my I'm going to full port this thing. And then like, oh, I lost yesterday because I full ported it, so today I'm only going to start with 1 micro. But the reason that doesn't work is because, you know, like, you can't say for sure, is it your mood that's not working, or is it the model that's not working? Exactly. Ultimately it's all about getting the payout. And this is the thing too, is like, when you take these entries, or you're like trying for these amazing entries, or you're like you're giving yourself a wide stop, or you're giving yourself a little stop, whatever approach you're taking to it, you just have to remember that, like, none of this is to show off for anybody, right? Like, none of this is for you to like brag, oh, I got this right. It's not for you to have pity on yourself and like, oh, I fucking suck, I got it wrong again. All it is for you to make a living. right? This is all what we want to do. We want to get paid in this so that we don't have to, you know, go work for Carl. We don't have to work with Carl. We don't have to. Yeah, I do hard stops at the swing low. You don't have to sit next to Karen. Bye, Cozy. I think that means you're leaving. Cheers. Have a good one. So like you don't have, you know, like all of this. You're trying to make a living, and you have no one to prove yourself to except yourself, right? So there's no ego in closing this trade early. There's no ego in bringing your stop loss to break even. Like, this is all just logic. You just need to, like, I just sat here for 8 hours. Am I gonna let myself get stopped out? I just sat here for 8 hours. Am I gonna let myself end this trade in a loss, even though I've been in profit for 6 out of these 8 hours? No, probably not, right? Like, and that's just freaking grossly stupid. So if you're really trying to make a living out of this, you simply remove thrill, right? And like, let's face it, trading is always going to be fun. As like, if you're performing at the best you can possibly perform, if you're always pushing your boundaries and always pushing yourself to excellence, it's always going to be fun, right? But if you are like going into this like, oh, I'm gonna get this best entry, oh my god, look at this sick wick, I got in on this wick, like, you're bringing excitement to the table that's turning trading into a drug for you, right? Like, so this thrill that you're getting from all of this, like, this is actually blinding you from the process of like doing this consistently, right? Like, look at the way I just explained my model to you guys. 2 gaps in the block. That does not sound fun at all. That sounds like 2 balls in a dick, right? Like, it's nothing. You know, there's no excitement in that, dude. Like, this is just, I need to get in this trade, hold it until X point so I can make a profit, and then I'm getting out of here as much as possible. Like, you should fear these markets more than anything, like, instead of looking to it for fun. So, you know, yeah, like, this is, once you start to really think of it in that aspect, and like, there was someone that was talking about, like, you know, they got a payout or they've achieved payout and they're gonna like try to hit it big before they actually take the payout. And I suggested to them, like, I think you should take the payout as soon as possible. And the reason is because, like, let's say we go into an account all in at 250, you buy the eval at 150-ish, you activated it at 150, so 300, math completely off. So let's say we're into the eval for 300 full. If you can get a 300 payout and you've broken even, or you get a $600 payout and you 2R'd, how long can you keep trading? For the rest of your life, right? Like, you can keep trading forever as long as it's free to you. And like, obviously we're all trying to get to the point where you get paid, right? And you're like starting to like really turn a profit, but you can't turn a profit if you don't know how to break even. Sorry, that's hilarious. But yes, that's exactly that's funny. Yeah, exactly. Like, paying your medical bills, like, so for example, my bills I've greatly reduced over the course of like being a trader, right? In August I've been a trader for 4 years. In the first 2 years of trading, I got rid of 2 BMWs. I got rid of my trash service. I started calling around for the best internet deal. Like, I did everything to reduce my bills as much as possible. Now I live on very, very, very low expenses in a year. I live well below my means, right? So to me, as long as I can break even, literally, I know I'm good, because obviously I get paid as a mod here too, right? So like, if let's say I break even for 2 years straight, if I'm getting paid as a mod, I'm good. If I make any profit as a trader at all, this only means to me exponential growth, because that means I can buy more evals. I can I can activate more funded accounts. So like, these are the things where, like, if you can outlast yourself, outlast your demons, and you can stay in the game until you've gained enough experience, again, for free, then you will finally get to the point where you can actually start to turn a profit. So achieving payout is all that matters. Your ego needs to be checked at the door. Your thrill needs to be checked at the door. Like all this stuff, like you're not hanging out with your friends when you join the live. You're not talking to your friends when you're in the chat. This is all about you showing up at work or showing up at your business every day to build a business. So like, you know, I hate to remove the fun for you like that, but that's really, if you approach it in that aspect, you're more than likely to create a profit, as opposed to like, ooh, I get to log on and watch JD trade live, yay. Like, it's not, it shouldn't be that. Targeting to Bitcoin. God chat me whenever I'm on trade. I keep learning more. Targeting to Bitcoin. Write that again, appeared edits. I don't know if I'm reading incorrectly. All right, we're gonna try to finish January, guys. Tangent over. No more questions. All right, so Asia open, just straight up consolidation so far. I need to mark 8:45 or an hour and 45 minutes as being the end of the rant. Go ahead, Cozy, if you have something, go ahead. My pleasure. But yeah, like my point really is that, great, Cozy, I love you too. Thank you so much. The main point is that, like, you know, again, trading is always going to be fun because you're going to have your time freedom in it, right? So you need to like remove as much optional fun as possible, like all the unnecessary fun that turns this into a drug. Because again, like, you know, there's nothing, you're always gonna feel good when you hit TP. You're always gonna feel good when you get the trade idea correct. So, you know, everything else, all the other extra stuff that you bring to the table, like for example, when you win, when you hit TP, try your best to not get overly excited. Like, really do your best to like just breathe and act like everything is normal. And I swear to you, like, because you normalize just the winning process alone, winning becomes a habit, right? You're no longer like, woo! Yeah, I got that. No. Try to stay calm. I know that seems so ridiculous, but trust me, it works for whatever reason. Yeah, don't do it. Is that a peacock? That's a peacock. Exactly. Don't strut your stuff. Do not. There's even like when I'm taking a trade sometimes and I start taking screenshots of my trade, I have to literally remind myself every single day that I'm not gonna show off this trade. Like I'm okay with showing you guys in hindsight because, you know, these are all journal entries, right? But showing it off like immediately after, before I've realized profit, before I've realized the payout, that psychological effect, for whatever reason, just really starts to throw you off your game. Thank you, Soy. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly, Cozy. Always, like, that's 100%. I learned that too about myself. Like, take profit when you take a picture. Take profit, take a picture. But oh, huge pump here at 1 a.m. Okay, that was random, quote unquote. We don't have anything yet. We only have this PM Q3 right here. Let me actually bring up these deviations so that we can follow that. Okay, we're at 2. Let me just make sure OBS is good still. Yep, OBS is still recording. Alright, so we're above previous day high here. All right, we've reached 2 deviations. We traded above Asia high, and we are in the 2 a.m. candle. We've taken out the high 1, 2, 3 times. I think this is a reasonable place to expect a CSD. I'm gonna go with this one here. Actually, I'm just gonna go with the down close or the actual swing low in this point. I think that's fair, even according to Adrian's CSD. I think that's fair. I'm gonna drop down to the 1. Ooh, it's that low actually. Okay, hold on. Let me reevaluate this. Oh, it's just that candle. It's just a singular candle. All right, I'll do that. I'm gonna do the singular candle here. He actually said he pops up for a 15 for confirmation. Great, that didn't help. That did not help. All right, this actually looks like it might go higher based on the 15. So I could be very wrong in this case. I'm still going to mark it out as such. All right, so OTE now. All right, so 5 would bring us back into Asia low. Again, I think this is reasonable, being that we've only traded up. We've reached 2 to 2.5 deviations. We're above previous day high. Once we get below previous day high, this will obviously be a little bit more comfortable. But I think it's reasonable to aim for Asia low from here with a Q3 manipulation so far. So let's just see if we get an entry. So we do want a tap of the zone in this case. This looks like I'm going to get stopped out. Imagine I already have positions up. So in this case, the first entry we get is the actual zone because that's above 0.618. Second entry would be 0.705, and then final entry would be 0.79. And it holds. Oh, wait a second. Okay, hold on. Let me send this screenshot to Adrian really quick to get his opinion. Let me mark this up. Let's see if he replies really quick. Alright, so I'm checking with him to see if he would use this low or if he would keep it here, because we already reached 1.5 deviations before the entry. So if he would keep it on this candle, then we can't take this trade because we reached 1.5 before the return to the zone. If he would use this one, then we can, because obviously 1.5 would be lower, so here. And then we would be in this trade still. And I'll actually take it to a vote with you guys. Would you guys use the single candle or would you use the swing low? As I've stated before, I was taught standard deviations from swing low to swing high, so I would use the swing low personally. But I could just be form fitting because now I see that we have an entry. So I'll take it. I'll let you guys vote on the rest until we hear from Adrian. If we hear from Adrian. Otherwise, yeah, John Vieira would use the swing. Stick to the plan. We are in the last week of January on Wednesday. Swing to swing. Okay, so that's 2. I'm 3. Let me get one more vote. Swing to swing. Okay, stick to the plan. All right, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Everyone voted with me. I'll hear him out when he replies. Another reason why I would take this though as the low is because these down close candles did not take out previous low, right? So they didn't make like a new separate low. They're all within this low. And like this goes into a whole other discussion about like swing lows and swing highs that I've gone over with you guys before, but oh, he replied. Ah, he said single candle. Damn. I think we're gonna override him on this one, guys. He said single candle. I think we're gonna override him. Again, just because these down close candles didn't take out the low. Like that's literally my logic in this. So I'm gonna go with this one here. And again, like we could literally still get stopped out. We could be wrong here, but we'll see. This is here. We're gonna play this out and we're gonna see how this reacts. Watch Adrian be right. Being that this, oh, great. Consolidation for the rest of the trade anyway. So we enter technically at 410. No displacement in either direction for invalidation. This does look more like an accumulation for this higher, for this bigger deviation. But we're approaching 6 a.m. candle here, so let's see what happens. Ooh, and it goes in our favor. So now we have this new deviation. Although it's not a Q3, but this would ideally send it into continuation for us. So this one's still holding. We got our 0.79 entry from it too. This is during the macro. Indeed, it's during the macro. This is the best entry when it's during the macro and it hits 0.79. Those are usually very, very A+. So 1.5 would be the first target. Let's just imagine I have all the positions on for now. Okay, and 4.5 is the last one we achieved it. All right, great. So this hit TP. I think there was like 4 or 5 votes against Adrian, so so that's all good. I'm sure he'll watch this video. So let me see. 0.5 here was outside the zone, right? Yep, 0.5 was outside the zone. So the first entry is the zone. Last TP is 4.5. So again, just bear with me as I get all these positions in place. LRS and market maker sell model. Ooh, I'm sorry, Cozy. I haven't been learning in a long time. What's LRS? Oh yeah, low risk sell. Okay, yeah. I normally think of it as low LRE. Yeah. A low risk entry as opposed to sell or buy. Sanju, have a good one. Have a good dinner. The video will be up at some point anyway. This video will be up on Monday actually. So you'll be able to see the rest of it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy 4th. Yeah, you're right, Cozy. Beautiful LRE. I mean, low risk sell. 100%. Like, and this is the classic. This is the classic ICT day too, right? Asia range consolidation, London range manipulation, and then New York distribution. Sorry, London reversal, New York distribution, reversal or manipulation, same thing. But yeah, like this is, and then beautiful market maker sell model into this. It's amazing. Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. And right into the 10 a.m. candle too, right? So then from 10 a.m. you can trade a whole other setup after this. Clone 0.705. We get this entry in this candle. And then last entry. Oh man. Hold on. I have all these on for some reason. I don't know when that happened. What in the world is happening? Okay, there we go. Alright guys, so let me just track this really quick. Sorry, I know this is like, I know you guys can't do anything here. Let me move. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Bring this one forward. This was Q3 London. Let me just label this properly. I need a marker. So we got all 4 entries again. It's actually pretty often that we get all 4. Maybe I should track that in some form or fashion. I guess we'll figure it out. I'll have to make a new table for OTE. But it's pretty often that we get all 4 entries, which just goes to show we should always take 0.79. Like honestly, we should always take 0.79. I think at the very minimum we should always take 0.705. But 0.79 actually we kind of get a lot. I'll go back and figure that out at some point. Not in this session, not right now. January 29th. All short. I'll add the chart first this time. Alright, and then all the entries actually occurred at different times this time. I'll just track each trade individually now. So this one is 0.5, this is a 4.51 R. Wow, that's the best R I think I've seen for that entry. I just want to zoom out to this low. Alright, so this entry occurred at 4:10, all exited at 9:40. Oh, we had 9:40 already. Okay, what is the math on this? That's 5 hours plus 30 minutes, 330 minutes. Right, and then this was what candle? This, ooh. We'll do 6 to 10 on that one since that's where most of the trade occurred. Oh wait, no, this is based on entry. So we'll do 2 to 6 for the first 3 entries. Sorry. And we entered in Q3 for the first 2, Q4 for the third, and this was entered during Q1. Alright, and we have, this technically isn't even, I guess the best option for this entry would be a breaker, although it's a very weak breaker. Breaker, barely, OB, so breaker, breaker, OB, OB. I should add swing low because it's more a swing low than it is a breaker. 0.5, 0.618, 0.705, 0.79. Let's see if any of them were SBS. 2. Yeah, we'll just go with 2. We didn't get a 3, so all 2. And we don't have a 4 or 5 yet. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Oh wait, this is the macro. 410. 350 to 410. All right, 410. 450. Wow, that's hilarious. And then the 650 macro. Wow, all macro trades. That is a first. $410. Let me double check this. Yeah, 450. That's hilarious. That is a first for all 4 entries. It's usually like 930, 935, 940, or 935, 940, 945, 950 type of thing. So this is genuinely a first. 655. Okay, now math again. This is 330. This is minus 40 minutes, so 290. And this is 755, 855, 2 hours plus 45 minutes, 120, 165. Alright, so 350 to 410, 450 to 510, 650 to 710. They all get profit. They all hit 4.5. $4.51R. Do that later. Okay, they all go straight to 1.5. 0.6 618, 5.99R. $7.98R. $11.53R. Alright, so this is how we do this. This is just to kind of say, like, from this retracement level, what standard deviation does it like just beeline towards? Alright, and notes on this. So I'm just gonna put here that we did swing to swing for the CSD. But this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful clean trade. Alright, so now we still have all of Wednesday to do. Let's see if we get another entry here. Let me delete all this. Notice, guys, too, that I'm not marking out trailing stops right now. But note that we would all trail them at 1.5. There's actually been quite a few reps where I forgot to mark the trailing stop, so just imagine it actually stays up. I'll delete that. We'll keep that on. Alright, so let's see if we get another Q3 manipulation. So no close below this low, so technically wasn't a continuation in Q3. This is Q4. Consolidation through lunch. Tanks again at 1. Okay, so does Sanju leave? Yeah, Sanju's gone. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah. Well, Q3 isn't here yet. I was just gonna say to you guys that, like, since we came down, like, per my model, how I trade, so since we came down, we took out Asia low, we took out PM session low, we took out lunch low, then we came down again and we took out AM session low. In PM session, I would definitely be looking for a reversal after taking out all these lows, but after liquidating this low and popping back above it, I would see this as 2 gaps and a block, right? So this is like a big, huge, big body block. This is the only one that I would be focused on at this point. And like I might enter on this one, right? But just based on like a lack of displacement after this block forms, see how we close below it immediately. This probably would have caused me to wait, and then from there I would just wait until the next 4-hour candle for like for me to make an entry here. But if I did wait, for example, I would wait to close back above this area. So like it wouldn't be until like this candle maybe, or this candle, that I would try to long it. But this, like, even just seeing this like here, this is the signature that I'm kind of waiting for to like basically take my daily trade. Alright, so let's see if we get a Q3. Alright, I'll take that. We have this here. the low of the quarter is technically Q1 at this point. This one here. But Q3 tapping back into it with a new CST. And we just have to see if we actually get an entry at this point. We did retrace into previous day EQ, snap back up above session liquidity. We've displaced out of it. We've returned to fair value and displaced again. So we might have already missed the boat because this is a Q1. But let's see if this also gives us an entry. Okay, then comes right back into it. Let's see if it's still valid at this point. There's a rejection of midnight here. Doesn't look great. So again, just imagine that there's entries. Wow, I was about to say that would have held right there. All right, so that rejection of midnight was the key factor here. We are rough. That was 350 too. I can't say that we would have taken this trade at that time, but these maybe 330. I'm just gonna go ahead and track these really quick. I'm gonna track this as all losses. This isn't the only thing for me is that this isn't a clear trade, or this isn't a clear Q3 manipulation, because technically it's a return to fair value, right? So it doesn't necessarily run stops. It's just retracing into this fair value gap. So this is questionable, but just for the sake of not form fitting, because we did have this continuation higher after everything else that I said. We returned to previous day EQ. We liquidated all the session liquidity here. At this point, I'd be looking to trade higher, no doubt. So it would be, let's say, worth a shot, for lack of better terms, to take this. And there was displacement coming out with a solid close above that high there. So, you know, I'll just say this is a valid attempt, and then I'll see what Adrian says after this. But assuming that, because like especially he takes any quarter manipulation, he's not only limiting it to Q3. So returning to Q1 during Q3, for example, with a continuation higher, that to me does not seem like completely unreasonable. What does seem unreasonable is the time, though. I don't know. Let me just put that to a vote with you guys. Would you guys take a 5-minute Q3 trade at 3:30? Because then you only have 6 5-minute candles to go. So you have 30 minutes for this to expand in your direction, which is generally probably not expected. Alright, so there's a no. There's one no. I'll let the rest of you vote. Okay, so I would not. I would say that rejection of midnight would pretty much null and void that for me in real life. Okay, so it's 3 no's. I'll go with the no's then. Alright, so this is probably 50-50 form fitted for this case. Again, this is not a solid Q3 manipulation, so like I'm willing to not track this one. But yeah, like in this aspect, again, with just the overall narrative of previous day low to previous day high, I think this may be a possible entry, but again, what really puts it off for me is the time. Alright, so we'll just move forward to the next day here. Chug on through to Thursday. Oh wow, look at that. What the hell? Post pump. This must be earnings. This has to be earnings this day. Alright, so now we have previous day high to previous day low. The day obviously closes lower. Yes. Point of control right here. It's saying the previous day closed bullish. How's that possible? Did we? Maybe we did. Oh, we did. We did close bullish. We closed like barely 20 points bullish. Okay, so sorry. I don't think it changes this, but I'm just gonna switch it around for safety here. Okay, that was so weird. I'm just gonna redo that. Hold on. Low to high. Okay, same thing. Literally same thing. Alright, so yep, pretty much. Oh, this is definitely bullish. It's definitely bullish now. We'll see. Alright, so hold on. We only have Q1 to go off of. We don't have any previous Q3s. Except this one. Did I miss this one? Or were we in a trade? Oh yeah, we were in a trade. To here. Oh, interesting. So this would be a Q3 lower here once we return into it again on the aftermarket, so doesn't matter. And we return into here at 330. Oh, interesting. Look at that, guys. I completely missed this. This is a Q3, right? Happening pre-market apparently. But we're in a trade at this point. But this Q3 has confirms continuation lower for us. We exit our trade at 940, the trade that we were holding through here. It trades all day and then comes back. Yeah, I'm honestly, I love pre-market. If I can get a trade in pre-market before the market opens, even better, to be honest with you. Especially, I mean, but obviously you can kind of tell when like pre-market is not really moving. But still, I think I would rather like... I think I would take 50 points pre-market before crazy volatility over 100 points in New York any day, to be honest, just because like so easy going. And then we return into it here. Now this is the question, because let me see. Yep, exactly. Oh man, this would have been a disaster. So if we do this, coming out of this, oh well, let's just leave it to this. The deviation from here, 1.5 achieved in one candle. Okay, yeah, so none of these are trades from this area. I'm tripping. Okay, so we have this Q3 here. This is all we have, plus this guy up here that we used and successfully traded from. 2 more days, guys. We can do it. I'm trying so hard not to get off right now. We can do it. 2 more days. I can do this. Alright, previous day EQ. We started the day there. Q2. Wow, this thing pumping. See, like this is another scenario where it's just like if you can't tell the naked eye what you're looking at, like you haven't studied it, you're definitely not an ICT student, right? So at this point, from here to here, from here to here, we mark out premium and discount, EQ right there, right? With liquidity right at EQ, with this propulsion block here. So like as soon as I seen this come to here, at just eyeballing that and like taking out this liquidity, returning to here, I just know like, oh yeah, we definitely bullish. Like this is a classic ICT setup here. So yeah, this from there it's like, oh oh yeah, we definitely going up. There's no question about it. This is one that's like too juicy not to take, even though it's like the market just opened at Asia. We just go ahead, just long it now. It's going up. Okay. So nothing for us. Q3 here, not confirmed to go lower, so accumulation to go higher still at this point. Again, I'm not technically bearish, but you know, just following the narrative of what's happening. Since this is previous day low, I'll leave this deviation on, being that it's holding, even though it's not a Q3 I mean. Alright, this is previous day midnight. Going into current day midnight now. Sorry, this is previous day midnight. Sorry, this dotted line is previous London EQ. My bad. I saw true day here and thought it was this line. It's this line. This dashed line here, this red one, that's London EQ, previous day London EQ. Alright, so look, we went all the way back to the Q3 that already delivered 4 deviations, and we're just spacing away from it now. We do have this manipulation here at the very, very high. This is a Q4, so we're not going to take a trade from it, but it's there, it's holding so far. We traded below midnight, retested it and are trading lower, and now we are in London. So from this Asia high, we traded into 4 deviations. We now have a CSD higher, which follows the overall narrative of everything else. We'll mark this one out. This is also not a Q3, this is a Q2. And it continues higher. We hit 1.5 right away, just went straight to it. Again, trading above midnight, retesting and going higher. This is like what you're seeing, like literally right here. This is classic support and resistance, how I learned it from ICT. You get to a level, you break it, it acts as resistance, it trades lower, we go back to the level, it acts as resistance, we trade below it again, it acts as support and trades higher. So like that, I don't know, W for a lack of better description. The way that it works the level like this is classic support or resistance becoming support and vice versa, blah blah blah. I literally learned this in like an OG ICT video, because when I was first learning ICT, I was like, maybe I need to learn retail because I don't even know what support and resistance is. And then to my surprise, I found it in a really, really old ICT video where he teaches, where he's still kind of teaching like your retail trading patterns or like trading terms, and blending it with his own just so that it's more digestible for people. So ironically, I learned support and resistance from ICT himself. Alright, so 2 a.m. candle here, Q3. Okay, so now we have a CSD here. That's all I was kind of waiting to see if it would happen. We come up above this Q3. We've traded back below it. I'll just back this out here so that it's not super confusing. And then this is our first Q3 here. That's Q3 London. Let me put in here, that's also previous day. And then this is Q3 London current day. Hopefully if it holds. And this is Q4 Asia. Also back this up so it's not confusing. And we've come up to 2.5, 3, missed 3.5, but 2.5, 3 deviations from this point here, from this Q2 manipulation for London low. So let's see if this holds as London high and serves as a London manipulation back into Asia low. Asia low being right at 2.5 deviations. Alright, so let's see if we get the expansion away from it first. Before the retest, ideally. Oh, man. Oh, no. Yup. We can't take it. It expands to 1.5. So, this I think Adrian would take. He would just straight away take this retest. Per our test, we are waiting for EQ, right? So we are waiting for premium and discount of some sort. So we just missed this trade altogether. Alright, so darn. It's nice. Into Asia low like we wanted from London high. Pretty classic scenario there as well. We are still within 25% of previous day high with an overall bullish narrative, right? So we have this nice clean manipulation if we can trade higher from here. We'll see. Oh, let me back that up so it's not confusing. Okay. So this is a common scenario that I've mentioned to you guys before in different settings as well as backtest sessions. When I'm expecting a classic expansion day or a classic buy day, generally I'm only looking to actually get into previous day 25% instead of the 50%. And the reason is because when you're getting into EQ of previous day, what's normally happening is like you basically have a wick that's balancing both sides of a candle. When you're getting into 25%, you're leaving behind like a daily BISI, for example. So I don't necessarily demand EQ. If it gets to EQ, even better, right? But once I see any sort of action happening around 25% where we've manipulated that level and we're now trading higher, that's enough for me to satisfy like the retracement. So we took out London low, we took out Asia low, snap right back above 25%, 25% holding all bodies. We're back above midnight, we're back above previous day high. All that says to me is that we're super bullish and we're going to keep, this can be a classic buy day from here. And then again, like look at how Asia opened, right? Going back to what I said earlier in the session when I was going through one of my trades, is that I'm basically just looking for like a continuation pattern. So just expand up, consolidation, manipulate the lows before taking off. So we shall see if guess it's this guy. From this low to that high. This is the CSD here. Alright, so all 4 entries can apply here as well, or well, 2 for now. I'm gonna just follow this higher, assuming that, you know, bias is correct here. I could definitely get slapped here because we took out Asia, we took out London high. So this can absolutely come back down for these lows with all this here. But again, just following the overall narrative of trading higher plus this action from the previous day as well. I'm going to assume this is right. And again, we do have a Q3 CSD here, having manipulated some form of intermediate term highs and lows, or lows. And I got slapped. I want to check something here. Where's Q2 open? Open is here. Okay, so Adrian said that when he's looking for a manipulation, all that he's actually requiring for his manipulation, for him to like really consider it a manipulation, is when we trade into Q2 open. Alright, so let me track this really quick. This is just a straight up loss here. We do have this new one that we will track as the correct Q3 manipulation here. Yeah, hold on. Q3. Place all these positions annoyingly. So zone. $1.5R, okay. So although I read it wrong in this scenario, the reason I'm also tracking it as a rep is because it's also following the overall narrative of the setup of how we prepare for the day with previous day high, low, OTE, and fixed range volume profile. So I think mechanically even this would have been taken as a trade with everything else literally lining up, right? We went from London high to Asia low. We achieved 2.5 deviations. We were back above midnight, back above previous day high with a firm close above. So I think mechanically speaking, like this still would have been a solid approach to take this trade. Although, like, you know, I can see from here, because again, once you take this high, or once you take London high, I would be a little bit, in like snapping back into the range, I would be more cautious in real life to take this trade. I would wait to see if it actually holds first and goes green before I actually get in. But mechanically for the model, I think this would have been a solid approach. This is not like the most confident Q3 manipulation here, but because we took some form of intermediate term low, I think this is suitable. I think it's like okay to say like, okay, this is, you know, a Q3 manipulation. Again, just to drive home the point that like I try not to form fit as much as possible. Alright, so let me zoom out for everything. Wait a second. Okay. I thought I had the wrong day on. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's right, right? Yeah, that's right. Thursday, January 30th, 10 a.m. Alright, so all of this was entered at 10 and stopped out at 10. All at 10. That should be easy. Don't have a 10 yet. I'm just gonna put 0. Or will that mess up the average duration? I'll just leave it at 0. Alright, entry was Q3. Yeah, it goes to 10:08. Oh shoot, I'm thinking about the 1 minute. Goes to Q3 starts at 9, so it goes to 10:30. Alright, and this was all OB except for 50. That's a fair value gap. Alright, and 0.5, 0.618, 0.705, 0.79, SBS negative 2, 4, no. I think this is the first macro loss, 950 to 1010. I'm sure the next rep that we're about to track is going to be the 1. This was all stopped out. All -1R. All the same chart. So what I'm going to note here is that the Q3 is questionable. So this goes to show that this goes to show that the Q3 should be really obvious, or the manipulation at any point should be really obvious. Is that how you spell questionable, or is it two N's? Questionable. One N. Okay. Looks weird. Alright. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry, we're almost there. We are almost there. We've literally been on the last 2 days for like an hour now. I got this. Thank you so much. I got this. I hope so. We're almost there. Alright, I'm just gonna pull this up. Because this is obviously the right Q3 manipulation now. So this would be Q3 AM. This is wrong. You know what I want to do? Let me write this down. I need to review all the Q3 manipulations that we've done so far. Or at least all the winners. And see if there's a distinctive rule set that I can apply to Q3 manipulations for us to know that it's the Q3 manipulation. For example, it manipulated above previous quarter highs. Like it took out Q1 and Q2 completely. Or if it closed the highs of Q1, Q2 completely and then closed below, things like that. That way we can approach the manipulation itself more mechanical. As far as defining them before they like come to fruition. Alright, so this would be the Q3 manipulation here now. EQ is all the way up here. Let's see if we get it. Okay, hold on. I'll expand this. Back to previous day EQ, respecting about bodies. I don't like that for higher prices. Or for lower prices, I mean. Darn. Okay, hold on. This now goes all the way down to here. So the first trade we can take is the body. And then we continue lower. Even worse now, we've gone all the way down to OTE and we're trading higher. So maybe this Q3 also loses. That's gonna suck. Alright, so again, pretend I already have entries, but we have one here, here, and here. So we have our first two entries in. So I got smacked here at previous day 25%. It did come all the way back into OTE. So this can very well continue the narrative of higher. And I just wasn't patient here. Although again, for a classic buy day, I would take this every time. Personally, not the model. Alright, so first two entries playing out so far. We're not BE yet. All right, so now we're approaching the next 4-hour candle. 10 a.m. opened here. So we did close bearish, technically, although it does have a long wick at the bottom. So we've closed bearish and above previous 4-hour candle low. So we literally swept the low and closed higher. Wicking into this wick back here. So not looking good for this narrative lower neither. And it didn't hit 1.5, so it doesn't invalidate the trade idea. All entries in now. Again, not looking good. Oh wow, look at that. And end of day is here, market on close. All right, so those or no, they don't. So 2 would close in drawdown. This is like slightly in drawdown. These would be in profit though. These 2 trades would be in profit. All right, so let me track this ugly ass trade. This is horrible. Low here. At least it's going to be a little bit easier since they're kind of all different entries now. Let's see if the R is there. Indeed it is, 1.5 R. You know, when I was an up-and-coming student myself in a different server, in the server that I met JD and Tyrant and Hitman in, there was this one guy named Blue. He's a really freaking good trader. He used to backtest all hours of the night. He would we used to have a voice channel in that server instead of a stage. And so he would just backtest in that channel all hours of the night. He would backtest 1 a.m., 3 a.m. He would backtest in the middle of the session, like while someone else is trading live, he'd be backtesting. So he would just backtest literally all the time. And this is kind of how I came to be like the way I am now, where I'm just willing to backtest, you know, on any given, or like, you know, any given weeknight. Is because this guy would just backtest all the time. So like he would be backtesting, we go in there with him and just kind of watch him do his thing. And of course he would also get annoyed that like no one's talking to him, and we would just watch. So then eventually he would like just invite us up to like, you know, take over and like, you know, backtest. And he would let us play the charts through while he's like talking or something, or explaining what's happening. This same guy, if you guys know Nick Does Futures, this same guy, Blue, would backtest with Nick Does Futures. I also met Nick Does Futures in that server as well, actually. So we all 3 of us, we all used to just kind of backtest together all the time. And anytime they were on, I would try to backtest with them. And Nick invited me to backtest with him privately before. Me and Blue backtested with Nick privately before. Like, we all started leaving the server and started backtesting on our own. Yeah, and that's the thing, or that's what I really enjoyed about that server, is that everyone was backtesting. Like, even the members were backtesting, which is kind of what I'm trying to like get everyone else on here, is that like I want you guys all to be encouraged to be like to get on the chart with me, or to like take over the screen. You guys you know, play through price action and try to like understand the model yourself type of thing. And then like, you know, I can narrate whatever. Like, you don't necessarily have to be the one like entertaining everyone, right? Like, you don't have to be talking or anything. Or like someone else can be tracking the data, but like all of this, like it does, because someone always has questions that someone else is not willing to answer, or sorry, that someone else is not willing to ask, right? So it's super helpful when everyone else is just, if everyone's just kind of hanging out together and they're like, oh, I don't understand this, blah blah blah. It just makes it a lot more of a comfortable setting for people to open up and ask what they don't understand. And that's how also, like, that's why for those of you guys that have backtested with me before, that's why I also did like the watch parties where we would watch like JD's mentorship videos together as a group, and that way if you guys had questions, we can kind of go over it together, or we can backtest the concepts from that video together. Is literally from everything that I learned in this in that server. And that server, that was like my first year of reading price action live. The guy who was actually running that server ended up being a major scammer, but man, everyone in there became really, really good traders. Every single person that I met in there, all amazing traders. Excuse me. So yeah, I say that to say, you know, if ever, like, I don't know if you guys are ever sitting there thinking like, I wish I can hop up there with Jess and, you know, backtest myself. You can, you absolutely can. And that just gives you some background into like why I don't mind just talking to myself while you guys watch, because this is literally how I learned myself. I was once in your seat doing the same exact thing, just hanging out with someone else while they were backtesting. And then eventually, like, it turned into me doing the same exact thing. Man, I don't know what I did. I don't know if I coughed in the wrong direction or something. Something's in my throat. I haven't taken allergy medicine since I went to the Philippines, too. All shorts. This is the most losses or not losses, but this is the most unprofitable we've been. This is the longest stretch we've had. And I think this is because we're not requiring SPS, so the leniency to take a trade is now a lot easier. But it's refreshing to see losses, to know we're not form fitting. Alright, so 1150 macro here, 1150, 1155 for the first two entries. Third and fourth entry happening at... Oh, I need a marker. I always forget. Third entry happening at 1455. Last entry happening at 1520. What is happening? 1455. 1520. Let me make sure I didn't double track this really quick. Yeah, we're good. We did actually used to have a voice channel in here. I'm gonna ask the admins if maybe we can go back to having a voice channel so that all of you guys can pop in and out as much as you want. I don't know if maybe someone got blatantly disrespectful with that for the reason we don't have a stage anymore. I think all of you guys can technically pop up here whenever you want it anyway. Like, if you request to speak, it automatically allows you. But I think it's a little bit more welcoming if it's a voice channel and just anyone can kind of speak freely. Alright, let's see. 12, 1, 2, wait. 12, 13, 14, 15. 4 hours plus 10 minutes. 60, 240, 250. 250. 245. Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys can all just request to speak though. I don't know. You guys can try it if you want to see if you guys can pop up here as much as you want. But yeah, I think a voice channel would technically be more welcoming. 1555 plus 5 minutes, 65, and then 40 minutes. Math is so hard. Alright, let's see. We have... This would be the 10 to 2. 10 to 2, 2 to 4, 2 to 6, 2 to 6. And now the quarters. Q4, Q4, Q2, Q3. I don't know if you guys can hear my PC. It's getting hot now. It's like really blowing some wind. Alright, so we will go with... we'll go with breaker, fair value gap, fair value gap, inversion. BPR. Fair value gap, fair value gap. What do you mean? What do you mean by notion no joke? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Notion takes a lot of CPU power, 100%. And Notion, once it's gonna start actually slowing down soon. Once it gets to 60 reps, Notion itself starts to slow down significantly. So we'll see how it starts to act, if it's gonna behave for us or not. But once it gets to this stage, it's normally that's when I started to notice a huge lag in a lot of my back tests. Alright, so SBS here. Do we have SBS? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we do. No close there. Here's the close. Okay, yeah. So 2, 2. 4, 4. 2, 2, 4, 4, 5 sweeps 4, and 1150 to 1210, 1150 to 1210, 250 to 310. Ooh, I don't have a 250. Ooh, it's a new one. 1450 to 1510. And no macro. And this all... Okay, hold on. Let me do the first chart. I think I've already copied this link. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through all this though, because I know like 80% of the session is literally tracking the data. So if you have patience to sit through this, just saying, you have patience to wait for the entry too. Alright, let's see. Let's check out the R here. It's true. Alright, so first one, we lose. I don't feel like calculating that. I'm just gonna do -1R. Yo, we're just gonna do -1R. Yeah, I can't. I don't have the patience for that right now. So -1. Let's call that an L. Oops. The EODs are actually really tricky. Like whenever you take a trade past 2, or let's just say even, oh well, these aren't past 2. When you take a trade past 2 or 3, it is like it's almost impossible that you're gonna get the full TP with this model so far. Which again, like we'll have the data for that after the fact. But I mean we have the data now, but it's pretty much impossible that you're gonna get. All right, you're gonna get that full TP. I would call this BE, but I'm gonna be a dick and just do a -1. Did I copy the link or the image? Just to be sure. Alright, and now the last 2 should be in profit. Alright, so this is like barely 1R there. I'm gonna call that BE. Alright, and the last one here. Alright, that's also barely 1R, I think. Let me just... From there to there, 49 point, 69 point stop. I'm also gonna call that BE. Don't judge me. Alright. So obviously being more than fair here, I think. We'll do stop loss, BE, BE, no deviations achieved. And these technically they technically profited. Nope, I'm just gonna leave them as is because if I change this, then I'm gonna feel obliged to change this as well. So I'm just gonna leave that as is. It's okay. The note that I have for this, not really anything. Let me see. Asia's here. London high there. Where's London low? London low's here. Okay, so classic Asia London. And then New York distributes here. Yeah, I don't have anything. This is pretty classic. Overall narrative was bullish. That's really all I have. From here. Previous day high achieved in London. I don't really have a note. Just gonna leave that as is. I don't have anything to say. Alright, so final day now. Let's do it. Clear the charts, play it into 1800. Alright, so previous day apparently also closed bullish. We have OTE bullish here. We're gonna mark out fixed range volume profile. Previous day low, previous day high. Point of control right under EQ. The most recent Q3s. This one here. And not the best confirmation for this one, so I'm just gonna leave that one on. This is Q3 AM. Yeah. Alright, best case scenario is that we don't get any Q3 manipulations that we can take a trade from, and I can skip tracking any trades today. Better case scenario is that we do get a trade or we do get a Q3 and it wins. But I would sincerely, honestly, I would not mind just flying through today's price action with no trades. Alright, so we've traded above this one. We're in Q4 now. Here's current day midnight. Nice tight consolidation for the rest of Asia after expanding up in the beginning. Take Asia high into London. London consolidates for the first 2 hours. Okay, no Q3 manipulation here. Doesn't close in Q3. Oh wait, yes it does. Here. Okay, hold on. This was previous day low. High 88.75, 88.25. I'm gonna use this low here, or the swing high here. Alright, so we're at 4 to 4.5, and then we have a CSD lower. It is retesting previous day high, so this could be a run on stops here. This sucks. Okay, invalidated. So let's see. Is this a Q3 manipulation? Ooh, I missed that. So here we have the high. It closes here, right before Q4. So the reason I didn't take anything from this one here, because it didn't displace out after the CSD. So no displacement, and there was no, you know, from here. EQ is up here. We just closed firmly above that. So just, you know, that's because it does require displacement out of the zone first before we can take the trade. So, alright, so here, Q3 up. We did already complete this, so this is, I think, you know, I think we could be just driving up. So we already took Asia high, we took London high here. I think we can have like a manipulation up here before a significant shift lower, because it's kind of just grinding, right? But we'll see, because we did manipulate this low and then trade higher. So clear accumulation. Again, we want displacement. We do have this here, kind of iffy. It's not really like expanding. Again, just kind of grinding out. So first entry can be here. We did retest previous day high and trade away from it. Imagine that I have entries up, although I'm not confident. There's our first entry. All 4 entries are in. We are now, this has to be 8:30 news. Is there news on the last day of the month? Core PCE. Alright. So all 4 entries definitely in. We got in even the second time if we didn't get in the first time. Again, imagine all the entries are there. We're aiming for 1.5 first. There's our first target. There's our second target. There's our third target. Now we just need 4.5. We've already reached a 62% extension of previous day. Let's see, we had this new Q3 here as well. I'm just gonna use a singular candle. Okay, let's say I use the actual deviation, 2.5. Yeah, so it could turn around here. Let's just see. Again, we're already break even. We've already reached 3 targets. We're break even after 1.5. So let's just see where it stops out at, or if it goes to the final target. Because I'm lazy and I don't wanna track another rep. Okay. All right. So we are now out of this trade for sure. We're back at previous day high. So let me back this up into this area here. Let's see, where's the next? I'll just play it until 2. Because that's the next 4-hour candle. Alright. Was everyone following? Sorry, I know I'm kind of like starting to jump around a little bit. Alright, so here. We were here to here. We entered this trade there. Goodness. 0.5. That's our first entry. Bring it all the way up to 3.5. 0.618. Let me zoom in. I can't. This is the wrong low. .618 is entered there. Jeez. 0.79, same candle. Or sorry, 0.705, same candle. And 0.79, also same candle. So all 8:30 news though. Oh wait, no, 8:35. Okay, yeah, we're good. Probably couldn't get it in with a funded, just depending on what time it actually got down there. Or at least you couldn't get in with. Oh wait, no. TPT lets you trade that. Core PCE. Does anyone know? Core PCE, does TPT let you trade that? I don't think I've ever seen the Core PCE email. If you know, let me know. Okay, hold on. Let me just make sure they're all on the same exit. They're not. 9:55, 25. Okay. Oh, it's all 50. Great. Alright, so overall narrative here. First screenshot, always. Oh, I need my marker. Okay, no, because these would enter before that. Okay. Again, I'm deciding here. Do we use this deviation or do we use this one? No, they would. Yeah, they all enter before this deviation even plays out. Okay. Alright, another 4 entries. Let's see if we get 4 more after this. January 31st. Last day of the month on a Friday. Fun fact, every Monday that starts the first trading day of the month, meaning like if it's January 1st that lands on a Monday, it's always bullish. I take that to the bank. Friday. So like February 1st on a Monday would be bullish. March 1st on a Monday would be bullish. If it's the first trading day of the month and it's a Monday, it's going to be bullish. Like the first day of the month, calendar month, and it's the first trading day, and it's a Monday. This was long. Okay. We drop the charts first this time. Alright, and entries. Oops. Alright, so let's see. First entry, 8 a.m. Second entry, 8:35. Okay, yeah, we'd be good. We'd be able to enter that. All last three entries were 8:35. We'll do the exits first, actually. All exited at 10:55 in the macro. Definitely learning from this backtest that macros are also a good place to exit, which I actually didn't consider before. I only considered that they were good places to enter. Okay, now math again. 2 120 plus 55, 175 minus 35, 140. This is 6 to 10. All of them. See, that 6 to 10 a.m. candle is nice. It's real nice. Alright, now quarters. Q2 for all. And all in inverse OB inverse BPR actually no inverse oh hold on fair value gap and OB. Okay, hold on, that's too much. Okay, inverse fair value gap, right? No, that was OB. OB fair value gap. OB. Am I saying Alright. 0.5, 0.618, 0.705, 0.79 was their SBS. 1, 2, 3, not SBS. 4. 4, 4, 4, 5 sweeps 4. And this is 750, so 810. This is no macro. This no macro and no macro. And I need to reorder this. Okay. All of them hit profit. And all of them hit what? 3.5. Alright, and now the individual trades. We've made it. $5.04. $6.95. $9.25. Oops. And 13.42. Telling you, man, take that 0.79 level every time. It's nice. Okay. Do I have any notes on this one? My main note is that it was a retest of previous day high, actually. Yeah. Following the bullish narrative. Alright, let's see if we get more trades here. Oops. We still have the 2 p.m. candle that we can possibly get another opportunity out of. Delete this one. And that's already met, so we'll keep that on. This was a Q4. Yep, so nothing there. Okay, now we can't take a trade out of that one. Just delete this one now, I think. Interesting, interesting. Right into OTE and then a snap right back up. This is messy, to say the least. Let's see if we get something a little bit cleaner. Okay, never mind. 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm glad I didn't force that one. We didn't get the close above anyway for this one right here. I don't think I wouldn't really, because they're all not making higher highs except for this one here. There's the only one that's a swing high, and then no displacement after that. Okay, great. Thank you guys. We did it. We have finished January. Oh my goodness. It took all quarter. Yay, we did it. I really do appreciate you guys for sticking around. I know this is so brutal. It's brutal on my side too, believe me. But yeah, this is always fulfilling in some form or fashion. I highly encourage you guys to go through the reps. I think this loss that we took up here, I think this was 100% unnecessary, again, because Q3 was like super questionable for these. So it did bring our win rate down to 72%. But I think obviously that's still pretty solid. Like, even in comparison to all the other backtests that we've done within this server, 72% is pretty respectable, being that most of them hover around 60s, 65 to 70-ish. So we started today's session at an 83% win rate, and we're ending it with a 72% win rate, which again I think is still pretty solid. We are averaging 3 R still, which is pretty good with a 72% win rate. And then, you know, imagine that we've been like hitting double-digit R's recently as well. So looking good, looking good. All right, guys. Have a good night. I will see you on Saturday noon next. My pleasure as always. And this recording will be up on Monday morning. Bye, guys.